Hello and welcome to Doubles and Trebles. I do apologise, we've had an absolute nightmare with technology in the Pieman household this week, so I'm flying solo and very late on our weekly Premier League video. It's the last week of the regular season, week 16 of the Premier League. Virtually everything is decided, and there's only one game to look forward to, really, this Thursday in Newcastle. As we always do, a quick look back on week 15. And it's a great success for doubles and trebles, a rare success for Pieman and myself, who both said that Joe Cullen at 8-1 was the bet last week, week 15 at the O2. 8-1, and he got the job done. We said 8-1 to win the night and 11-4 to make the final. He obviously made the final, and he went on to win it as well, beating Johnny Clayton in the final. And as a result of that, Joe Cullen, he very much needed it. He's put himself right in the mix to be qualifying for the Final Four. The top three spots are decided. We'll come on to that shortly. But yeah, it was all about Cullen, really. He battered Anderson in the first round, as we predicted. Gary has virtually gave up. I've covered that many times. I don't even think he should have been in the competition. And that is not hindsight. I said that more than 16 weeks ago. Cullen beat Anderson 6-1 in the opener. Anderson averaging just 83. That is no way near good enough. And then Cullen saw off Snakebite in what at the time was a big game because Cullen was fifth, Peter Wright was fourth, and Cullen seen him off. Again, Peter Wright averaging under 90. First round he's averaging 94, decent. Next round he's turning up, averaging 89. I mean, yeah, very inconsistent and more downs than ups in the Premier League this year for Peter Wright. That was the semi-final. Cullen, another 6-1 win. So 12-2 was his aggregate score after the first two rounds. Then he felt a proper game with table topper Clayton in the final. Cullen getting the job done 6-4 there. He just was playing like a man that needed it and wanted it and had to do it more. And he did. Elsewhere, away from Cullen and winning the night, Michael Smith got a rare win over Michael Van Gerwen and a deciding leg in their opening tie. Michael Smith going into week 16 is still the only player not to have won a night of the Premier League. It's a shame really for Smith, but he has played some good stuff in recent weeks. I think I've said that the last 3 or 4 weeks when Pieman and myself have been catching up. And a rare win over Van Gerwen in the last leg decider. Bully Boy did all sorts he could to give that game away. I think he was 5-2 up against Van Gerwen and only ended up going to a deciding leg. And at the time, if you were watching it at the time like we were, you would have thought that, Michael Smith, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5. You would have probably backed Michael Van Gerwen to get the job done at 6-5, but Smith rallied and got over the line. So fair play to him. Clayton saw off Smith in the semi-final 6-4 in what was a close game, and Clayton again has proves his record against Gerwyn Price, beating Gerwyn Price 6-3 in the opening tie of the evening. And just a quick mention on James Wade, looked out of sorts. He only averaged 80. That's one of the lowest averages we've had the whole tournament. He averaged 80 in a 6-3 loss to Peter Wright. There's obvious reasons for that, with James Wade is recovering from illness that saw him go to hospital in Germany a few weeks ago. So the table now looks like this with 1 week to go. Clayton is top and will stay there. He's on 37 points. Can't be topped. MVG is second and will be staying there. He's on 31 points. James Wade is third and qualified. He'll probably be staying there, but Cullen or Peter Wright could topple him actually and go third. But he's definitely qualified, so that was all that matters to James Wade. And it's a good job he did all that work early because he's missed 1 week and then the last 2 weeks he's been out of sorts. But like I say, he's got obvious reasons and excuses for that, and fair play to him. Hopefully the gap between week 16, which is on May the 26th, and finals night, which I think is on Monday, June the 13th, hopefully that gap helps Wade get back to full fitness and he can come all guns blazing on finals night. Cullen and Wright are locked on 22 points each. Cullen's just above Wright in the table. I think that's because he's had more winning nights. Cullen has won 2 nights. Peter Wright has only won 1 night. So I think that's how it's decided if the points are the same. But that matters not, because the points won't be the same after week 16 because they play each other. Price, Smith, Anderson, they're all way off and can't make the top 4. Anderson was eliminated some weeks ago and Price and Smith were confirmed unable to make the top 4 at the end of play last week. On to week 16, which is at the Newcastle, up at the arena in Newcastle. Slightly different concluding week, as Pieman alluded to last week, because first plays 8th second place 7th, third place 6th, and fourth place 5th, etc. So that basically means only one game matters this weekend. It's the second game of the evening, and it is Joe Cullen, the fourth ranked player at the moment in the table, against Peter Wright, the fifth. Yeah, I mean the winner will quite simply book their place in the final four, regardless of what happens in the semi-finals and the finals on night 16. Snake has clearly got more experience in winning crunch games like this, but this form has been, I mean, inconsistent is probably the wrong word. It's been poor in the Premier League. There's been more bad than good. I mean, Peter Wright has only won one week. I think that was night one, if I remember rightly. Yeah, he won night one and has done nothing else since, which is not good for Peter Wright, and that's why he's been slipping down the table. Yeah, so it's a straight shootout. Snake is the favourite. He's the reigning world champion. He's got the higher ranking. He's got more experience. He's 8-11. But Joe Cullen is obviously in better form. He was 11-10. He's 11-10 to win this. He obviously won last week. He's won another night earlier in the piece in Amsterdam against Van Gerwen. So I think momentum's with Cullen, but experience and in the crunch moments, in the crunch games, is with Snakebite. So it's 8-11 Snake, 11-10 Cullen. That is basically a shootout. Whoever wins that, whoever gets to 6 legs, will be playing on finals night in Germany on June the 13th. Away from the only game that matters, Cullen against Wright, it could well be business as usual. I think Van Gerwen is in the bottom half of the draw. Clayton is in the top half. They're the leading contenders for obvious reasons. I think Clayton is nailed on to make the final. Clayton is 11-8 to make the final. He'll beat Anderson in the opening game. Then Cullen or Peter Wright possibly on the come down, because they're going to put everything into that first game against each other, and they don't need to do anything more than that. They don't need to win the semi-final. They certainly don't need to win the final. All Peter Wright and Joe Cullen will have on their mind is winning their first game, which is against the other man that's closest to them in the table. I think they'll be on a bit of a come down after that, and they won't care as much, and they won't be as bothered. Clayton will probably see them off in the semi-final. Then it's Clayton in the final against the likes of Van Gerwen or even Gerwin Price. So yeah, I think Clayton's nailed on to make the final 11-8. Pretty short in terms of what we normally put up on this channel, but I just think it's the value. We put up an 8-1 winner last week, so we've got a bit of credit in hand with the followers. The first game of the night, as I say, Clayton against Anderson. Clayton's 1-3. That's one of the shortest prices we've had of the whole tournament. There's no surprises there. Cullen and Wright I've already covered. Van Gerwen against Michael Smith. They played each other in the first round last week. They're going to play each other in the first round this week. Van Gerwen's about 1-2 for that one, and Michael Smith's about 7-4 to repeat what he did last week, although he did need a last leg decider. James Wade is 5-4 against to beat Gerwin Price, who's 8-11 now. If this was a month ago, then Prices may well have been the other way around, or certainly closer. But the fact that Wade is still clearly recovering from his illness is certainly factored in there. I think we could well be seeing a Clayton and Van Gerwen final, but that would be business as usual and no surprises there. So that's a quick wrap up from me. Who do I think will get the job done, Cullen or Peter Wright? That's the sort of questions that Pyman would be asking me and telling me to get off the fence and make the call. I'm going to go with Peter Wright. It goes against most things I say about Peter Wright, but I just think that he's just proven over time that he can get it done when he needs to. He's not too far from Scotland in Newcastle, but then again, Joe Cullen's not too far from Bradford in Newcastle, so that'll be interesting what the crowd do. But it is on reasonably early in the night. Hopefully they'll behave. I think Snake will get it done. I've not got a clue what darting setup he's going to turn up with and what equipment he may use on the night. But yeah, I'm going to side with Clayton. I'm going to side with Snakebite. I think if Pyman was here, if his internet was working, he would probably side with Cullen. So we're going head to head. Pyman will probably be on Cullen, and I'm certainly not backing him at 8-11, but that's where I think it'll go. I don't really mind either way who wins that. Just before we wrap up, a nod again to Luke Humphries, who over the weekend won his 3rd European title of the year, and we're only in May. I think there's only been 6, and Luke Humphries has won 3 of them. It was deja vu. He again beat Rob Cross in the final, so that's 2 weeks in a row that Luke Humphries has not only won a European title, but he's beat Rob Cross in the final in doing so. So He's as short as 20-1 now, Luke Humphries, for the World Championship. I know that's in December. It might be 7 months away, but he's turning into a serious contender. And I would be surprised if Luke Humphries isn't in this Premier League next year. You already know the couple of people that I think that shouldn't be in there. So yeah, I think there's going to be a freshen up in the Premier League, and Luke Humphries is top of the queue to be taking his place. He's played in the Premier League as a contender. I think he's going to be a permanent fixture in the Premier League for 2023 and possibly beyond. So thanks for tuning in. Sorry it's late. Hope you get to watch this before the action starts on Thursday night. Plenty of going on the channel, as you know. Hopefully we can get Pyman's internet back on soon. It's the Epsom Derby next week, so there'll be plenty of content to go for that. So thanks for watching. Speak soon. Cheers.